Football season is back. We got NFL news. We got Crots' top 5 quarterbacks going into the college football season. It's week 1. We got our college football picks, and we got to discuss what happened last week. My bad. Let's go.
We're not the starters. We're not even the backups. This is the Third Stringers Podcast.
Welcome back to the Third Stringers Podcast. I'm your host. My name is Noah. With me is Justin.
Hello. Let's get it.
Let's get it. We do have some sad news, though. Our partner in crime, Paige, has accepted a new position at a college university, and because of the NCAA rules, we all know it. She can no longer be a part of this because we do mention some sports betting.
Yes, unfortunate that she can't be here, but excited for her to be a part of that team and organization. I don't know. We probably shouldn't say it, but she's part of the team.
We won't mention it, but if she wants to, she can.
Exactly.
She can post.
Exactly, and we're excited for her because that's awesome. So, yeah,
it is awesome. But let's roll into it. First, we got to start with how about them Cowboys trading for Trey Lance. They finally have their backup that plays a similar game to Dak Prescott, although we might not know that because Trey Lance has only played in 2 games. But they only had to give up a 4th-round pick for him. What's our initial thoughts?
Honestly, it's a steal for the Cowboys. The few games he played, he looked great. I mean, he's a young, promising quarterback. And like you said, he plays kind of similar style, right? He's mobile. He can launch the ball pretty far. Like, it's a good fit for him. And honestly, if I'm a Cowboys fan, the last few years, whenever Dak got injured, it tanked their season. So this is a huge upgrade for them. And end game, right? Let's say Dak stays for the next few years. At least Trey Lance is learning from a respectable quarterback. I know a lot of people have polarizing thoughts on Dak, but he's a decent quarterback in the NFL, right? He's not garbage. He's not like I don't even want to name names. I don't want to bring anyone down. He's not Johnny Manziel where he's gone in 2 years, right? So he's learning from someone decent. He has a good head coach in McCarthy. So we'll see how that goes for him.
Yeah, this is definitely a long haul play, I think. I don't think this has nothing to do with this season. There's no pressure for Dak right now. It's more of a long haul play and injury risk play because, again, Dak has not been healthy the past couple of seasons. But I think it puts his feet to the fire a little bit for probably next season. He threw 15 interceptions last year in 12 games, which is not averaging more than 1 a game, which is a little rough. But I don't think there's a ton of pressure on him yet. The defense is going to be good. The Eagles are still going to dominate that division, so I don't think there's as much pressure to win the division. But I think Jerry's getting a little older, and he's expecting another Super Bowl before he's gone. So he's doing what he can. I get it.
Yeah, he's making moves. But on the flip side, 49ers, I don't know. I understand what they're thinking. They have their starter in Brock Purdy, right? And they have their backup in Sam Darnold, who they've been saying has been playing phenomenal in the offseason. But for a 4th-round pick, that's the trade you're going to do for Trey Lance, who played pretty dang good when he was on your team. Like, what are we doing here? Like, is the value of him that low where you just want to get rid of him so there wasn't any competition? I don't understand that. Like, why wouldn't you keep him?
Yeah, it was definitely an experimental pick, which makes me question it even more. I understand taking a big risk for a big reward for a potentially star quarterback, but he really didn't play that much in college. So the fact that they had to give up so many 1st-round picks just to move up to take him is quite remarkable. I don't think he was going to get drafted that high. I think they got played into taking that big step to move up to number 3. And it obviously didn't work out for him.
Yeah, it worked for the Dolphins, but yeah, I don't understand. Brock Purdy hasn't really proven himself either, right? He's only played in what, a couple games. It's like if you don't know what he's going to be like coming back from injury, why wouldn't you start the season with all three of them still in your pocket and then choose whoever is playing poorly halfway through the season to get rid of? It blows my mind that they did that. I feel like the 49ers is known for, they're pretty tactical when they do things. That was just like a blunder in my opinion.
I think it was more about a 53-man roster type of situation where they knew that he wasn't going to be the number two, especially when they have Sam Darnold as Brock Purdy's backup. So I don't think they wanted to spend Trey Lance sitting in the practice squad, potentially being a backup player.
I guess, but like there are three potential starting QBs, and you trade one for a fourth round pick. Like you could have gotten more from that. And what if Sam Darnold or Brock Purdy turns out to get injured or something crazy happens to them? Like, what then? What's the plan? They shot themselves in the foot.
Yeah, especially with the injury history that they've had the past couple of seasons. Probably the person that should be fired from this team is their training staff because they have so many injuries, and
Yeah.
it's season over season. It's not like last year was an outlier. The previous season they had injuries. The year before that they had even more injuries. So, what's going on?
Yeah, someone needs to be hired or changed roles or something needs to happen. If I'm a player, I'm upset. Like why are all of us getting injured and these other teams, I mean, obviously there's injuries on every team, but it seems like it hits the 49ers hard every single season.
Yeah, I can't remember if their field is grass or if it's turf,
Yeah, I'm not
but
sure.
because I know there's been studies done that turf is harder on the knees, and they do seem to have more knee injuries than anything. But if I remember correctly, they have a grass field, so
Yeah,
that
I
wouldn't
don't
add up
remember.
either.
Yeah.
Hmm. Interesting plays. Let's see how many injuries they got this year
Oh
because
gosh. And
they're definitely.
hopefully, yeah, I was
Go
gonna
ahead.
say hopefully not many, and hopefully for the Cowboys, if for some reason Dak gets injured or if they want to do a two quarterback system, works out. I hope it works out well for everyone. We'll see what happens.
We will see what happens. But if this doesn't work out, there's some great quarterbacks coming up from the college football scenery. Uh, we already know the top ones being Caleb Williams, Drake May, and Quinn Ewers. We got a couple of them that want to get into that first round category, but weren't on the mock drafts of Mel Kiper. So let's see what they are. I think there's five big ones, right? So
Okay.
we're going to get into Crots' list of the top five quarterbacks that can play themselves into a first round quarterback
I'm
play.
excited for this. I'm listening as a fan right now.
All right, we'll start with number five, and it's Joe Milton of the University of Tennessee.
Oh, okay.
It's an ex-Michigan quarterback. He's got a huge arm, has great ability to run, but struggles with accuracy. I think if he cleans it up in that Tennessee offense that's electric, he can definitely play himself into where NFL team can talk themselves into being able to fix his accuracy issues. And with the ability to throw the ball down the field that well, I could definitely see someone taking a flyer on him.
Yeah, I'd say that's fair. I mean, you can't teach arm strength. I mean, I guess you could work out more, but like, there's some people that got it, some people that don't. And yeah, like you said, if they just put him in a better system, figure out where he's throwing the ball, how to read the defenses better, maybe it jumps his game up exponentially.
I can see it. Let's move on to number four, which is Jordan Travis of Florida State.
Okay.
This is a guy that struggled early last year, came on strong at the end of the year. Struggled with accuracy early on. In that Mike Norvell system, it works. And with the wide receivers that they have this year, one being an ex-Ohio State from wide receiver university, that is Ohio State, you got to believe that he's going to improve that. They have a great run game. They have a good defense, and they're going to be in the hunt for the college football playoff, and that will just give him a bigger stage to perform on.
I'm excited. I don't know much about that team, so I'm excited to see how they do this season.
Don't worry, we got them playing LSU in that first game on Sunday night.
True, true.
Big stage for Jordan Travis. He can cement himself as a Heisman favorite. I like it.
Whoa, okay, going to Heisman favorite already. Okay. Who's
I
next?
like it. We got Sam Hartman of Notre Dame. Transfer from Wake Forest. Was a fantastic quarterback in an RPO system, which doesn't translate to the NFL very well. Made the transition over to the Notre Dame style of offense because it's more of an NFL traditional offense. And as we saw last week, it worked very well for him. I believe he threw four touchdowns. He's going to do well in Marcus Freeman's offense. He's the guy that they kind of needed last year because they had the defense and they just couldn't score. He's the guy that brings the experience and brings the ability to score touchdowns when it's needed. And he can play himself into a playoff spot as well.
Yeah, and after the game, they're interviewing him, talking to him and stuff. He seemed like he had a great attitude, seemed like he's a good leader. So, I mean, I know personality plays some factor into NFL scouts, right? So if he keeps that up and proves that he can overcome some adversity as he plays some stronger teams, I think you're right. He's definitely a top tier quarterback in the scene right now.
Absolutely. Let's move on to number 2. This one's close to home. It's JJ McCarthy.
Let's go.
He had to bide his time a little bit. Cade McNamara played well enough that first year where he wasn't going to play as a true freshman. Last year, they had to do a quarterback battle, even though I think everybody knew that JJ was going to take the spot. But they mostly ran the offense around the running backs. I think this year, with JJ's arm, Harbaugh has plays made up that will show it off. I'm still going to struggle with saying that he's going to compete for a Heisman spot only because of how much Michigan runs the ball. But if he improves his decision-making, which he struggled with a little bit, mixed with the ability to run, he can find himself on the end of the first round next year.
Okay, I see that. And, it helps having a star brother in NFL to get those connections going. So, yeah,
Sure.
I can see him, at the worst, making it to the league and, being a backup or third string or whatever. So, yeah, I'm excited for him. I'm excited for Michigan.
And number 1, this feels like it's cheating a little bit because I have seen him on a couple of mock drafts in the first round, but it's Michael Penix, quarterback for Washington. He was the transfer from Indiana when they had a great season during COVID, tore his ACL in 2021, transferred to Washington, and balled out in Washington. And everyone expects him to do it again with 3 wide receivers who ran for 1,000 yards last year. He's going to put on a show, and I expect him to be a first-round pick.
Whoa. How high?
Honestly, I think he's going to be a Heisman candidate as well. I can see him getting up there in the top half of the draft.
All right.
And that's Crots' list.
I like that list. I'm not mad at that list at all. I'm gonna leave those lists to you because you're more of the expert on that. But from what I've seen of the quarterbacks that you've mentioned, I am on board with that list.
I almost put a Group 5 quarterback on here, but it didn't feel right. If I said the guy who could, make a huge jump in the draft, it was Austin Reed of Western Kentucky University.
Okay.
Threw for almost 5,000 yards last year.
Jeez.
It didn't feel right because I just don't see Group 5 quarterbacks making that jump into the first round, especially with the portal play now. It just didn't feel right, but I'll put him as an honorable mention.
All right. Yeah, I feel like if you do so well, one season, if you don't make the transition to a bigger school, like you're kind of giving up, Not saying that he is, but if he wanted to make it to the NFL, transfer to a better school, So
yeah, that's
tough.
That's the problem with the portal is you're going to see less players going in the draft high from smaller schools,
Yep.
but they can still get their name out there by transferring.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, let's move on to college football picks.
Oh God.
Here we go. We got to talk about last week though. I believe the UMass quarterback heard me. Okay.
Yeah, I'm upset about that because I believed you.
It was a struggle for me. I believe he heard me. I said he was one of the worst quarterbacks in college football. He didn't do great, but he played well enough for them to win the game.
Yeah.
He threw less interceptions than the guy across the field. So
That's all you need. Yeah.
so I apologize, UMass quarterback.
You still don't know his name?
I still don't know his name, but
Oh my gosh. By the
I'm
end
gonna
of
be
the
honest,
season.
I didn't watch that game, but
Okay, that's fair.
it was still a tough game from what I heard. It was still tough on both ends on the offensive side of the ball. So
That's fair. So we both got that pick wrong. What other
we
picks?
we both got that one wrong.
And that was UMass against
New Mexico State.
New
Yep.
Mexico. Yes.
Navy Notre Dame, the 20.5 line. Notre Dame killed that.
Yep. And we both had that.
We both had it. OU at San Diego State University. We had a tough injury there with Curtis Rourke going down in the first quarter. It really felt like Ohio was controlling the tempo of the first quarter until that injury. And their backup kind of blew it a couple times. It was a rough game to watch after he got injured. So that's a loss, but I'm gonna internally count that as a win there.
It's a no contest. It's
a no contest. We got Hawaii at Vanderbilt. We knew that one, right? We knew that one. There's a 17-point spread. Everyone was counting Hawaii out. We felt it. We said they had something to play for, and they kept it close, and they pulled it out for us.
That's what matters. They're fighting for the island. We love it.
And they were fighting for the island. And then we had San Jose State at USC. USC by 31. It was a 28-point game. That's a tough one to see. I get it, right? They let San Jose State score right at the end. I don't know if the starters were still out there. I doubt it. So it's kind of hard to knock USC, but it is what it is.
So we lost on that one as well because I believe we had the same.
We did. So we both went 2-3.
All right. Is that counting the no contest?
That is counting the no contest.
Okay. All right. And that's fair. We should count that.
All right, but this week we got some great games. Starting with the one tonight, that is Florida at number 14, Utah. Originally, at the beginning of the week, Utah was favored by 6.5. It has fluctuated. It has gone down to 3.5. That's as low as I saw it on some draft apps. It has gone to 7.5. It's now settled at 6.
Okay.
For Utah. So who you got?
I am a Gators fan. Go Gators.
Go Gators.
I'm picking the Gators.
All right. And we have our first one that we differ on because I have Utah winning this. I think it's going to be by a touchdown. Cam Rising is not expected to play, the Utah quarterback.
Okay.
I don't think it matters.
Wow.
I really don't.
Wow.
I think if Cam Rising was going to play, I think they would have blown them out. But
that's fair.
They've prepared for this. They have the backup ready. They knew that it was going to be questionable the entire offseason.
Yep.
I think they're ready for the Gators. It's at Utah. The elevation's going to have the Florida Gators struggling.
Doesn't matter.
Ooh, okay. But yeah, so it's down to 6. So we're gonna count it as 6.
Okay.
Because we're gonna go based off of what the number is right now. So you got Gators.
And I'm not saying the Gators win. I'm just saying they're within that 6.
Yeah, that's fine.
They might win. I'm not against it. Whatever.
Do you want to call it out? Do you want to?
No, it's too close to call it.
Okay, fair enough.
But I think that if they lose, it's going to be within a field goal. So
That's fair. That's fair. All right. Next, we have Colorado at number 17 TCU. This one has stayed consistent. It's TCU 20.5. Who do you got?
that's tough. 20.5 is a tough number. I think Colorado is within that, but I still think TCU is going to win. Maybe
So
two
you think
touchdowns.
okay, so you got you have Colorado covering the spread?
Yes, yes.
All right. I have the opposite.
Oh, you think it's
So
going to be more than that?
I think it's going to be more than that. I think early on Colorado I think they'll play hard. I do.
Yeah.
I just Dion's got the team believing, right? And I think that'll
Yes.
last for the first quarter. And then after that, I think TCU's got the experience. They got the coach. Even though I believe in Dion, I just don't think that they have enough players that transferred to him.
Man.
And to be honest with you, I don't believe in his son as a quarterback.
That's fair. I'm not going to deny that. But yeah, I still think TCU is going to win. I just think Colorado, they have so much that they're fighting for.
It is a
right
lot
now.
of points. It is a lot of points.
It's a lot, and we were burned by that with USC last week, so I'm not going to do that this time.
That's fair. That's fair.
All right.
So I didn't know this. Apparently there were clock rule changes, right?
Oh,
So in when there's a first down, it used to be that the clock stopped.
yep.
That's not the case anymore.
Oh, I did not know that either.
Yeah, so it's a running clock. So there's a lot of unders, and the numbers have adjusted for it already. They've gone down on their totals. So a lot of these numbers, like 20.5, those are the ones that I've seen drop over the past week because they had the game knowledge of last week on what happened to kind of
Okay.
adjust for it.
Gotcha.
So I think originally, like early summer, from what I saw, it was like a 23-point spread for this game, and it's gone down since then.
Interesting. I also believe that TCU, while they are a good team, I don't believe they're anything crazy special. I still think they'll win, but they're not like this isn't a guaranteed win for them.
I get that. I get that. They rode a lot of momentum last year too.
Yeah, 100%.
All right. Next we got number 21, North Carolina at South Carolina. North Carolina is favored by 2.5. Who you got? Actually, you know what? I'll go first. I'll go first on this one.
Yeah.
Upset alert.
Whoa.
I have the Gamecocks winning this one outright. It's at their place. Their place is going to be rocking. They got Spencer Radler, who's feeling himself now,
Okay.
and they have the better defense here. This is going to be a shootout. There's going to be a lot of points scored in this game, but I think South Carolina comes away with some sort of turnover, and they win the game for it.
Okay. As much as I want to believe that and agree with you, I'm gonna pick the safer route. I'm picking UNC.
Okay.
It'll be close. I mean, obviously everyone's thinking that anyways, but in my mind, and this might upset some people from South Carolina. I don't know many people from there. But UNC's just got them. They got them beat in every sport other than women's basketball. So
I can't argue it.
that's what I think is going to happen. I think they're going to take the edge. There's going to be a lot of UNC fans there anyway. So it's not going to be, it's not going to be as one-sided as a stadium as you might think.
I get it. I don't believe. I love Drake May as a quarterback.
Yep.
I just don't believe in their defense.
We'll see what happens. I think
We'll see what happens.
it'll be close. I agree with you there, but I'm going to say UNC's taking it.
Okay. Let's move on to the Monday night game, which is number 9 Clemson at Duke. Clemson favored by 13 here. You go first this month.
So yeah, not much to say here. Clemson's the better organization, right? Better program. I have Clemson taking this one.
Yeah, I don't have much on this one either. I don't believe in Duke.
Yep.
I don't believe that much in Clemson this year either, but I think there's a wide gap in talent here.
Completely agree.
I think Cade Klubnik is going to be a good quarterback this year, and obviously he's the better one in this game, and they're gonna win by 3 touchdowns.
There's a reason Clemson's ranked number 9 and Duke's not. So yeah.
exactly.
At least 2, and that's the line right now. So they're fine.
You know, first game of the season, maybe we got an upset here, but
No.
we'll see. And let's go to the game of the week. It is number 5 LSU at number 8 Florida State. LSU is favored by 2.5. I believe this is played on a neutral field. I can't remember, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I think it's in Florida from what I remember, but I'm pretty sure it's on a neutral field. It's Orlando. I remember it.
Okay. Orlando. I mean, they still have.
This is played.
Florida still has the advantage.
Yeah, it's still Florida State country for sure.
Yeah.
But I think some LSU fans are going to be flying out to Orlando. You know, maybe going to some Disney World, and then going to the game, making a trip out of it.
Okay.
But who you got?
I mean, I said it, I believe, a few episodes ago that Jaden Daniels has potential to be a Heisman nominee, maybe the Heisman in general. So I'm taking LSU. Go Tigers.
I like this. We agreed on all of our picks last week, and we're not agreeing.
We are
on
not
4 of them this week. I have Florida State in my college football playoff scenario. I have to go with Florida State here. Jordan Travis is going to ball out. I also think LSU's run game is going to struggle a little bit against Florida State. I think they're going to be a little one-dimensional, and I think it's going to hurt them.
I don't think it matters.
Fair enough. It's going to be a high-scoring game, though.
Yeah, hopefully it's a great game. That's all I want to see out of these close games. It's fun and exciting.
We have 2 really good coaches in this game as well. Brian Kelly obviously has the experience. Mike Norvell is on the rise, and it's proving in the recruitment as well. Florida State is jumping up the rankings.
I'm excited to see what happens. And then after next week, I'm going to start a running count, and I'll show it up on the screen. So for any viewers watching this, or if anyone's listening and they want to watch, go to YouTube, Third Stringers YouTube channel. We'll have the counts up so that way everyone can kind of see as we're talking about it as well, our records.
It's a little rough right now, but we're gonna one of us is gonna improve it this week.
We'll get there.
All right, let's go on to final thoughts.
All right.
You want me to go first? Or you want to go first?
You go first. I'm just gonna pull it up real fast.
All right. This week we had another NCAA issue, let's say.
Okay.
Arizona State gave themselves a 1-year bowl ban this year for illegal recruiting during the COVID period for Herm Edwards. This was a little more than the Jim Harbaugh thing of just buying the kid a sandwich, but he was illegally recruiting during the COVID-19 dead period, and he got caught doing it. The NCAA was going to make a statement on this, I believe, at the end of the year this year, but they wanted to bump it up to this year because they don't believe in their team this year. They're going to the Big 12 next year, and they just wanted their hands clean of it before they made that transition over. I get it, right? This just really sucks for the players who may have transferred in maybe to hopefully make a bowl game, and they're not going to be able to regardless of their record. I just think this is a really bad look on the Arizona State program. But I don't think they got put in a good position because the NCAA was going to give them a ban next year anyway.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, as an athlete, right, as I was an athlete in the past, so are you. You only have so many years to do this unless you're going to make it pro. And obviously we didn't make it pro. That's why we're the third stringers. For these guys, right, this can make or break, so much for them. And maybe one guy has an amazing season and gets drafted. You never know. And that just kind of sucks that, I mean, obviously it's just a bowl game, so it's not like the whole season. But, it takes the air out of their tires a little bit. And they don't really have much to play for. So it's just demoralizing. I feel bad for them.
I do too. This is just another NCAA mishap with this whole thing. I just don't agree with the NCAA on what they're doing. There's a lot of people that have that same mentality. But that's all I'll say.
You know what? You know what, Crots? You should start your own collegiate football governing board and start recruiting teams to join. You call it the NCCAA, the National Collegiate Crots. I don't even know what the AA stands for. Association something association.
Athletic National Crots Collegiate Athletic Association.
Exactly. There you go.
I like it.
You can get rid of all these stupid rules.
Yeah, honestly.
That'll be exciting. All right. I'll kind of jump into mine. It's not much in terms of controversy, but just kind of feel good story. I believe it was what day was it? A few days ago. By the time you're hearing this, I think the 29th. In Lincoln, Nebraska, it was the largest crowd to ever witness a women's sporting event. It was at Memorial Stadium in Nebraska. 93,000 fans watched the five-time, which I didn't know this about Nebraska, the five-time Nebraska Volleyball NCAA champs. And they played Omaha, which is, big rivalry for them, and they won 3-0. So after the first two sets, the announcer came on and told everyone, "Hey, we set the record for most attendees for a women's collegiate or a women's sport event ever." And that really got them hyped, and they blew the waters out of them for that third set. So that's really cool. I mean, if I'm one of those players, so they're playing on the field in the stadium. They had a bunch of ground seating for a bunch of fans. Seemed really cool. They dubbed it the Volleyball Day in Nebraska. Seems like a great event. I was excited for that.
So when I initially heard about this, I'm like, wow, that's a lot of fans.
It is.
Like, that's a lot of fans to it was at the Nebraska stadium, right?
Yes, it was.
Okay. So I feel like I wouldn't be able to see it, but I guess you can watch a football game. It's the same thing. But so when I saw the hype video for this, the coach walking down that tunnel with his players, oh my gosh, he wanted to burst out of his freaking shell. He was feeling himself, right? He has won what, 4?
5.
Did you say?
5.
5? So he's won 5 national championships. I bet you that's the best feeling that he's had, like walking into a 90+ thousand stadium.
Yeah, that's hype.
Just, oh man, it got to be one of the best feelings.
And so real quick, the previous record was set by to me it's crazy that it was collegiate volleyball, right? I mean, it's a big sport, a lot of people follow it, but it's not a professional league or whatever. The previous record for women's sports attendance was in April 22nd, 2022. Barcelona, Spain FC Barcelona was playing Wolfsburg in the Champions League for women's football, soccer, And that was did I say 91,648? So they beat them by about 1,000. Actually it was just 400. That's crazy. Actually crazy.
Wow.
And then another thing that kind of brings it down a little bit, and I hate to say this, but it's a fact. There was a double header. Okay, so tickets was a double header. Wayne State beat Nebraska Kearney for a Division II game. So that, boosts the numbers up a little bit. And then there was also it was Wayne State. And then there was also a Scotty McCreery concert. So that also boosts the numbers up a little bit. So it wasn't just pure, but everyone was there. That's what they said happened. So still a record.
So I want to know how they promoted this, right? Did they say we're gonna fill the stadium and we want the record for the most people to view a women's sport? You know what I mean?
I don't know if they straight up
did it just happen?
Yeah, I don't know if they straight out came and said it, but they were planning this for months of just planning, logistics, and they wanted to tie in, first of all, I guess Nebraska as a university and just the state really likes their volleyball team. Obviously, they've won a lot. So they're just trying to tie that in and bring, whoa, got a dog. They're just trying to tie that in and bring a lot of enthusiasm for the team. So that was cool. I don't think they explicitly said that set the record, but they were trying to bring a crowd.
That's awesome. I mean, I've seen videos on TikTok for it, and it just gets you hype.
Yeah. No,
I love it.
yeah, I love it too. I saw a few videos, a couple pictures, and it looked epic. And hopefully, get some more events like that. It seemed like it was, good for the community, good for sports in general. Why not keep doing stuff like that?
I like it. I think it should happen more. I think you can get a lot of people, going to support women's volleyball. I think they're kind of restricted by playing in, I guess it'd be a volleyball stadium,
Yeah,
but even like a basketball stadium, if you put them in like outside onto a football stadium, I think it would bring a lot of revenue.
yeah, definitely. And it makes it an event, and everyone loves just events in general. So yeah, go for it. Why not?
First game in, the big house for uh, women's volleyball
That
for
would
the
be
Michigan
sick.
team.
That would be sick.
I would go.
I don't know if they're a good
I would
team.
go.
I'm sure they're respectable, right? They have to be. They're a top tier school, but yeah, I would consider it. Why not? That'd be sick. Especially if you have a double header, you bring in a concert, like it's a whole night.
Oh yeah, you play Ohio State in there?
Exactly. Ooh, that'd be sweet.
There's the record for you in
Yeah,
the big house.
true. That is true.
All right, guys, that's all we got for you this week. Next week we got NFL is back. We might have some picks there too. I think we're gonna stick to college football, but you got the Chiefs Lions. Next week
We'll
we
pick.
definitely
We'll
gotta
pick a
pick
game.
that.
Let's pick a game. A game a week.
Yeah, I like it. I like
it
it.
too.
All right, that's all we got for you this week, though.
All right, yeah. And if you like the episode, subscribe, follow us, give us a like, put a comment down, let us know what you want us to talk about, tell us what you like. We're open to anything. We love to hear from you all, and we'll see you next time.
See you next week.
Peace.